If I fight either of the Paul brothers, I'm having a bad day.
Yeah, they're
I
gonna
don't
beat the
like
shit
it.
out of me.
They're
Yeah.
They're
big
not bad.
boys. And they're good. And speaking of that, that's an excellent transition. Wow. Yes, I did fight on the first Logan Paul event.
Yeah,
How
I
did you
know.
know?
I know. I was gonna
Oh,
ask you.
yeah.
I have
I
it written
saw
down
that.
as a topic.
Oh,
Dude,
really?
how are the bright lights? Now I know it's not your first competition, but it must be
Mhm.
your biggest one.
Oh, well, here we go, Woody. Ready? So I'm a wrestler, jiu-jitsu, judo kind of guy. I
Right.
never really had box before. I've done MMA sparring, which I mostly just rely on like jiu-jitsu for that, right? I'll do a fake a jab and then takedown.
Mhm.
The boxing thing, I didn't get the contract until about a month out to go do that. And so I didn't have a ton of time to train, even though I had kind of put it out into the ether and talked about it. It
Mhm.
was never confirmed until about a month out. But I ended up fighting FaZe Sensei, who is a part of FaZe clan. He's like was Tommy, the main owner, Temper's sensei back in the day, and still is. But I introduced Sensei to KSI at a party in Boston. They ended up training together, and then when this whole fight card came about, Sensei could not find an opponent. He was going to fight a couple guys. I don't know if I'm allowed to name them, but they're big fight guys on YouTube. They're like very big, millions of followers for training professional fighters on YouTube. And he was set to fight these guys, and they both pulled out. So because of that, and I knew he wanted to fight, I called up JJ, I called up KSI, I called up Sensei, and I was living with Keemstar at the time. And I called them up. I talked to Keem about it. He would promote it. Sensei is like my friend, and at the time, me and him had the same following count. It ended up getting put together. JJ loved the idea, so we put it all together. Ended up fighting, and yes, that was my first time. I had fought before in front of I had grappled before in front of about 1,500 people, but over there in Manchester Arena, it was I think they sold out with 22,000 seats, I believe. And I got to say, that was it really does take a lot out of you. You know, it is a weird thing to walk out there and there's that many people like screaming and yelling and recognizing you. Or it's really a huge distraction from the fact that you're about to get punched in the eye. You know, it's crazy, but it was definitely an insane event. I brought my dad out there. He was my water guy. I asked him like the month before, I'm like, hey dad, you want to come with me to Manchester? I'm gonna have a boxing fight. He's like, yeah, sure, okay. And we get there, and he opens up the curtain and sees all the people, and he starts like tearing up, and he looks back at me. He's like, wow, it's really it's a big thing, huh? I'm like, so there's like pictures of me and my dad, and there I'll throw one in the chat, but it was definitely crazy. And at the time, I think that FaZe Sensei would have cleaned up everybody on the card. He would have beat everybody, both of the Paul brothers, KSI, everybody. And he was the only professional fighter at the time as well. He was the only pro fighter. Nobody would fight him. I took that. And of course, I lost. I fought a professional fighter. You know, I don't know what you want from me. I thought it was fun, though.
I thought you hung in there. Like, didn't you lose by decision?
I lost in the last 6 seconds via liver shot TKO. For months, my whole comment section was FaZe liver shot, and I was like, "Thanks, guys, appreciate that."
Oh man, liver shots. Liver shots are no fucking joke, man.
I've never been taken out by a liver shot. Have you?
Have
yes.
I?
Yeah.
I used to box when I was younger, but never hit really in the body. Big target up here, so. But no, I mean, just from watching like Boss Rudin, I think was a big liver shot guy. He would just knee guys in the liver and they'd collapse, and he'd be like, "That shot broke his liver." Anyway, you know, doing commentary.
Well, it's like it's a real important organ, and like you kind of need it for everything.
Yeah, for real.
I had another topic too. I would just before anything closes up or anything. I was curious. The whole YouTube boxing thing. I just wanted to get you guys' take on it. I know it's been talked about before, but I'm in talks right now. It looks like, I mean, I have the contract available. They're working on the guy that I'm fighting is much bigger, so they're working on his side. But they got a thing coming up in March with this YouTube boxing. KSI's brother Deji is going to be fighting on it. I believe, or FaZe Temper just got announced to fight somebody. So FaZe Temper is one of the main guys that owns FaZe Clan, of course. And then I believe that I don't know if this is announced yet, but I definitely saw rumors that Vitaly is fighting as well. And then I'm going to be fighting probably one of the FaZe guys, hopefully FaZe K. They also suggested that I fight Sensei again, FaZe Sensei. And I was like, maybe an MMA and maybe not just boxing strictly. He's black belt boxing. I'm not black belt boxing. I am white belt 2 stripes boxing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I just kind of want to get your take. How do you feel about the whole YouTube boxing space? Is it something that you want to get into, Taylor, or what's going on?
Are you saying participate in or watch?
Participate a lot,
Both.
So I've
you
watched.
know I'm pushing 50.
I know, but
right?
you look great. I think you could come
You look
back and
great.
you can maybe take
You
out.
you are bar none the fittest near
You're very
50-year-old
fit.
that I've ever met in my
Get
life.
out there. Who's
Woody,
another-
Woody, fucking Mike Tyson just came back. Looked great.
He
Older
did look
than
good.
you.
He looked good out
First
there.
of all, he didn't look like he used to.
Wait,
And
a little bit.
Dude, there does have to be a little bit of like of ego, you know, saving for you. Like, even if you lose a boxing match, the only reason you didn't kill the guy you're boxing is because you decided not to use jujitsu. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know if
Yeah.
you lost the fight, but if it was a suddenly like, oh, gun on everyone, like it's a prison fight to the death, you're like, oh, okay, I win. Awesome.
Perfect.
Great.
It does-
So
it
now
does make me feel
I can
better.
utilize my skills I've practiced for a decade.
I don't know if you guys had seen it, but yeah, I fought the only pro fighter on the card, and halfway through I hit him with the outside trip and took him down for funsies, and made like, it was super obviously illegal. The whole crowd was very upset with me.
I saw that
They
on
threw
your
biscuits at me.
Instagram. I saw that on your Instagram. Actually, you posted where you're like mid trip or whatever. Yeah,
Oh yeah, you just followed me, yeah.
yeah. Like a
Thank
couple of
you.
months ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I
did
remember
the
saying that. I
same
was like,
thing
what's
to my
going on?
boxing coach. My boxing coach would bully the fuck out of me. And like, I remember I've said this before. He'd hit me so hard, like in the body and in the ribs and stuff. And I'm like, is this how hard you hit in like a real fight? And he's like, no, this is how hard I hit in a real fight. Same hardness. like so yes. Like, yes, that's what you're doing. And then one
Yeah,
time
pretty much. And you let me do it again, huh? I like you, Woody. No one ever lets me beat him up like this, but you.
And then like, so he just beat like it was bullying. It was bullying, and he's supposed to be coaching me.
What if he said
And-
that? He's like, usually people stop me by now.
But he's a boxer and I was a grappler, and at one point I hit him with a hip toss. I'm like,
Oh.
like overflow, you know, like a guy can be, say, a blue belt overall, but this, like, he spots back take opportunities like a brown belt, and he does this like a white belt. A hip toss is one of my moves that I'm good at, and he was just wide open for it, and I flipped him up, and his feet were way in the air, and I placed him down like even gracefully. And all the other boxers were like, "I like that one. That was pretty." So illegal. It's not grappling, but I've done the same thing, and I loved it.
It's crazy how somebody like you said, even a blue belt, is so much more advanced than the average person just like walking around on the street. It's absolutely insane to me. We have a lot of guys that train with us, like cops and military guys and stuff. And those guys that come in that are fresh, man, you give them a small white belt with 3 stripes, and it's just over for them. That knowledge is like super separates the new guy from the guy who's a blue belt or whatever.
Dude, and some of those professions that you talked about, they're supposed to be tough guys like cops or whatever, and none of them, prison guards, knew what they're doing on day one, with the exception of army guys. They don't know how to fight, but their cardio is for real.
For sure. I have so much
thing,
respect for the guys that come in and train the cops and stuff, you know, because they're not obligated to do that. And
Right.
it's like crazy it's crazy to me that more don't, you know. Sorry for cutting you off, BlameTruth.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I was-
okay.
I was just gonna say, like the the whole boxing thing in front of people. I did box when I was younger. I had a trainer and everything. You know, kind of got out of it when I was like 15. I have a real. I think I've talked about that, said this earlier, but I have a really fucking good head. As in, I don't really get dazed. I don't get rocked. I never have. So that's good. I wasn't technically that great at it, but like if I applied myself, could I be good at it? I think so. But there's something, I'm so introverted that just being in front of a crowd or at a big event would probably psych me the fuck out, and I'd lose just based on that. I think
You definitely get an adrenaline dump for sure. Like you get this like crazy, like I felt like I was moving in slow motion out there. Even when I've competed before, like in front of a lot of people in jiu-jitsu, it is like a weird thing when like everything, it feels like so much pressure and there's bright lights on you. I got choked unconscious at a jiu-jitsu tournament. That was embarrassing. I was super embarrassed. I threw up bananas.
Can I pause you right there?
Yeah.
So you've been choked unconscious. You were super embarrassed.
Mhm.
When you saw someone choked unconscious, I'm sure you've seen it. Do you think much less of them, or it's just the game?
No, I think that they're cool. I'm like, good
Right?
job. You're
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, like I do stuff like that too. Like, oh, for me, this is super embarrassing. I hate
Yeah.
that this happened. For you, oh, dude, I totally understand. This is
Yeah.
just the game.
I
This is
got
what
choked
we-
unconscious a couple of weeks ago, actually. And in the most embarrassing way, my trainer we were doing chokes all week, and so like
Is he demonstrating.
yeah. And I'm like a high belt. There's like 40 people there, and he's like just holding a choke, and he just starts kind of monologuing a little bit, but it was fine. It was very light, and I was
Which
like,
choke?
fine. Just a bow and arrow.
Okay.
So he was on my back, and he was just very lightly holding it. But we had been doing chokes for like 5 days straight, and after you get choked a little bit, they come on quicker. And so I was just hanging out there, and I should have turned my head, but I was like, oh, I'm totally fine. Then he tells a whole story, and then I wake up and my hand's like this, and I'm like, like I was just having a little like a baby seizure,
There's
after I
no,
choked out.
there's no shame
Jesus
in that. No.
Christ.
I
There's
was so embarrassed, man. Everybody's like staring at me. My
He
friend
gave you a
laughed.
seizure?
he,
a little
he
one.
gave me one as
Yeah,
a gift. It
You
was
do
super-
like we called it the chicken dance in my gym. Like,
It's the worst if you're on asphalt and you can't control, but you're grinding your face into the asphalt.
Oh god.
Yeah.
I-
Ugh.
yeah.